So now we move on to the last of the presentations, and it happened to be
Sony. Sony did a very good job last E3, but they did a ton of announcements, some big announcements. Shenmue 3, The Last Guardian, the Final Fantasy VII remake. And people were like, "What?
How could they possibly top this year?"
And I'm a little bit. I'm mixed on how they did the presentation this year. People will say it was the best presentation, way to do a presentation ever. We can explain that overall. Is that they pretty much just showed trailers.
Yeah.
Very little downtime, very little, hey, this is the game we're talking about, we're going to do it, but no, like, I think I had 2 or 3 live demos,
Yeah, 2 or
but
3.
no talking about the games, no developer coming on stage and talking,
Yeah.
no discussions. It was really just trailer after trailer after trailer, and while people love that, because it's just quick announcements and quick reactions to it, I didn't like it because it didn't feel like I was being presented anything.
Yeah, there was times I felt that they were not doing a very good job of presenting the actual games. They would show a trailer and then kind of move on to the next trailer, and then I was like, "Well, I want to talk about that game, or I want to hear more about it." And it almost feels like they're like, "We know people are hyped by the announcements of trailers and content, so we will have moments of coming out to and make verbal announcements." But rather than do that, we're just going to take the opportunity. I mean, they had this cool scene too. They had a floating screen, and all the walls and the floor were both.
They had an orchestra.
The orchestra. I was thinking maybe the orchestra may have done it because they needed to have the orchestra do something, so they played a lot of music with the orchestra.
If you were there and you had an orchestra and the orchestra playing with the gameplay, that's great. But for someone at home watching it stream, I didn't get the full impact of that.
Yeah, there was a time you said that it almost felt like that. Outside of the moments they came out to talk briefly, it felt like they just walked up, pressed play on their YouTube playlist, and then walked out.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. These are great announcements and all, but I didn't feel it. Now, enough about us ranting about the presentation, which everyone said was amazing. Let's move on and talk about the games.
So first was
God of War.
No subtitle. It just says God of War. It has Norse mythology contents on it, like little runes on it.
It has a little boy.
You have a boy.
I hope it doesn't require us to protect that little boy the whole time through. But yeah, and he's older.
Yep.
He's got a beard.
He's got a beard.
He's given up his 2 swords for an axe that can freeze and kill things.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's obvious that this is the same Kratos. This is clearly in the future. By some point in time, we don't know if he's actually his bona fide son, or if it's like it was adopted son by someone else. Because obviously his mother is not alive anymore, or at least isn't around anymore.
Or is assuming it. And the boy did say father one time.
Yes.
So we assume that there's some kind of that kind of relationship. But even at one time, he looks like he's trying to he's reaching out, but he chose not to. And I think he wants to distance himself from the boy because he shouldn't get too close.
I have to say, I'm absolutely surprised by how this game was presented. First of all, you had the music playing in the orchestra for 5 minutes, and we're like, "What is this song?" And we kind of knew. It was a bit long, but then the actual demo showed up, and the demo went longer than expected. It was like a 5-minute.
I thought they were going to stop if they killed a troll.
No, but they kept going.
Also, like, you're like, woo! Oh, it's still going. Okay, like that's a little bit long.
But they emphasized why they went long because they wanted to get to the ending point
where they showed the deer.
There's, it's interesting because the game is completely changing the gameplay mechanics. It's no longer zoomed out third-person action. It's now kind of behind the shoulder exploration.
They say I heard it wasn't open world, but then it has like things like where you interact with objects and you get like tracking plus 25. Yeah. Like, what is that going to be in the game? I have no idea. And that's really asking more questions.
Yeah. I would say that as it's shown, it gave a lot more. It made me like Kratos as a character more
instead of just being a raging.
Now, granted, we'll see in the future if that turns out because he still has Spartan rage, so we don't know if that's gonna turn out.
And actually, one of the cutscenes looks like he was getting angry. You see the top corner, you see a rage meter going up,
but he calms himself down. So I wonder if maybe you can calm him in cutscenes, or else let him become angry in the cutscenes, which can lead to a lot of interesting outputs. But that's just our thoughts. God of War definitely had a great way of being presented, and I think
it's a unique way to take God of War, and I actually like to see where this direction takes it.
Then they finally went ahead and announced the next game from Sony Bend, which happens to be a game called Days Gone.
I'm not impressed.
Yeah, Days Gone is a when they first showed it, mind you, I'm going to mention that they actually showed it twice. They showed it once at this point as a trailer saying, "Hey,
remember the good times?
I remember the good times. I'm a motorcycle guy. People are dead.
I remember the smell of your hair.
This one girl I like is no longer with me. I killed someone, apparently." It's like, "No, man, he's dead." I mean, like, my eyes like showing like I'm going crazy, and nothing happens. my only thought is, at this point, I'm like, okay, well, Days Gone, either zombie apocalypse or post-apocalyptic world. And guess what?
Zombies!
It was.
Oh, wait, actually, I'm not sure if they're zombies.
No, they're not zombies. So apparently what they say is, mind, this is what we found out in the demo that was the last thing. They closed on this demo, by the way, which is, I think, in my eyes, a bad choice. What happens, they're not zombies. They are people who have gone instinctively insane. They've essentially become like feral in a way. And what happens when they become feral, they are like zombies, but they're not, which is kind of weird. But they're trying to avoid saying they're zombies. But
mutants.
Yeah, the fight, the demo was essentially him trying to get he's a bounty hunter. He's trying to get this one guy. He tries getting him. The guy dies from by whatever the horde. And then you spend the rest of the rest of the demo running away, trying to shoot him with a rocket with this semi-automatic. When, quite frankly,
there's mountains of these guys. And my me opinion to this guy, I'm like, if I was playing this game, I'm like, screw this, and just run, close doors, anything behind me, just go and try to find a way out. But no, stand there, shoot you. Obviously, it's the way they want to show how many of these things there are, and you can't fight them.
One speculation that comes to mind is that maybe you have to find his body. That his body, he might have something on him that you have to get, or proof that he was killed, rather than just run away.
That's probably why it would explain why he's not running and hightailing it.
Yeah.
But again, I didn't like this as much. I got this huge Last of Us vibe, and it didn't really artistically and storytelling wise. I'm not engaged in it.
Yeah.
And they have to show us either more of it or some other side angle to it, because right now I'm not seeing it.
You know what isn't boring to me is The Last Guardian.
Yes.
Except
it's a trailer.
It's a trailer. It unveiled that it's coming out the end of October, which is nice.
Cool.
And they showed that The Last Guardian is not the only one.
Apparently, there's other things.
To maybe call it Guardian.
Now, being very vague here because some people don't want to know about it, but you can't avoid
Well, they
that.
didn't show a whole lot of it either. They showed a couple of new areas here and there, but nothing too much. I don't know how long the game's going to be, but I suspect it's going to be really
comparable to what the last games were going to be. I'm interested to see what kind of relationship there is, because there's a lot of questions.
Yeah,
and
I heard from impressions that one of the things that happens is that it's a living being, so it's not going to respond to you all the time. It's like a dog. It's like you're not going to have the dog come to you every single time you ask for it. You might be like,
Agro.
Yeah. It's not a horse that you'll ride on and then lose and break its ankle as you make your way.
Spoilers.
Oh, sorry. Agro's the name of a horse. I forgot.
But that was good to see the last Guardian. It's always good to see.
Yeah,
it.
It's weird that we didn't see a demo in a way, but it was nice to see it again.
Okay, again, it's across the board. But then we get a kind of was this live action?
I think so. This is a live demo.
Horizon Zero Dawn. Horizon Zero Dawn. Again, we liked it what we saw last year. Again, I'm really impressed with this year.
Yeah,
beautiful visuals, intricate monsters and robots.
Yep. It still doesn't really. It's still this air of what's going on is what there's animals, but then there's feral machines, and everyone
is hoarding.
There's obviously no technology, but there's technology. So I'm like, what is this? It was a good looking demo. There was some talking.
I looked at the maps. I'm not sure if that was authentic.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good. The game looks fine. There's
blowing things up.
We're already kind of trying to figure out what the twist is, because clearly there's a twist.
It's going to be a twist, guys. There's got to be a twist.
She's actually a nuclear bomb.
She's actually herself from the past.
She's myself.
Wait.
What? I don't understand.
I don't. Detroit, become human.
I actually liked this trailer because it really kind of spanned what a scenario can lead. Now, granted, this is a very small scenario. It showed off a new character besides the lead female character. You play as another cyborg. I guess you only play as cyborgs in this game, or androids or whatever. And your purpose, this character was doing negotiations, and it shows you all of the situations that could come about.
Not all of them, just enough of them to show just how crazy it could be. Like, you're doing research. Like, if you just walk in there without doing any research,
you're gonna have problems.
You got problems. So the next thing they show is like, well, it could have been like the little girl dies. That's a great way to start a trailer, guys. Watch the girl die. There you go.
But it could have been different.
It could have been different. And then it shows him doing research, like figuring out, oh, maybe that's why his motives are. That's what's going on.
And so you kind of mind game the other android.
You play as a negotiator. That's the whole point.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I hope that the game is going to be stage-based, but I don't believe it will be.
It's going to be Heavy Rain.
It's going to be one of those things where you make
Sean!
You're going to make a bad mistake, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I better reset. Oh no, it's saved.
Oh no, there's like Sean, and then Sean.
Her name is not Sean. Well, it is now.
I'm gonna name everybody Sean.
Everyone will be named Sean.
They should have a robot named Sean.
Just because. So you say, hey, Sean! It's a glitch. Everyone who says his name just has to say it in a show.
Like, I want to see more of that, definitely.
So then came the VR discussion, the PSVR,
yes!
and the biggest announcement.
It's coming out this year, remember, guys.
October. But the biggest announcement that came out from this was probably this game, which was Resident Evil 7 Biohazard.
No, but I kind of was, when I certain parts, I'm like, just Silent Hill? I got a huge Silent Hill vibe from it.
Yeah, and I didn't know it was Capcom until I heard people after the fact that it was Capcom.
When it said it was
Kitchen.
The kitchen, I knew it was Capcom, but I didn't know. I didn't put two and two together until
oh.
after it happened. Like,
there, yeah.
Oh. Love the logo design.
Yeah, the logo having the 7 built in is nice. The idea of Resident Evil 7 is to try and bring horror back into the Resident Evil franchise. Because what happens at Resident Evil 4 brought in action,
but it was still got a horror aspect.
Yeah, then granted, the version that's been dubbed Resident Evil 3.5 or 4.1 or whatever it was, which was the original in a haunted house that was shown at E3 2003. That was scary, like a haunted house that had some scary elements to it. The last version we actually got was more action based, but the game series could not seem to maintain the quality of Resident Evil 4. So for them to reboot it kind of in 7 is great. But the question is, what does this gameplay? What does this have to do with Resident Evil 7? Because we're seeing a demo that has nothing to do with the main game.
That's what they told us. That what we saw had nothing to do with it. The main game you can play entirely in VR.
Yeah.
But you don't have to. So don't worry if you don't have VR. But we don't know anything about this game. It comes out early next year.
Yeah.
January. And that's it.
Yeah, it's crazy. Really got us off guard.
But it doesn't show us anything about the game. We need to see more from Capcom, and that's probably going to show us more down the road. Yep. But right now, they just want to get people to get hyped, and
they did a good job doing that.
We're all amped for it now. Then they showed off Farpoint.
Farpoint they showed for a trailer. They eventually showed off there's like a gun controller that uses, you're in space, you're following this creature, you're on the planet, you shoot things.
Using the Move controller.
It looked nice. Can't really say much more about it, but it looked.
I'm still preferring the Robinson Journey, whatever it's called. That one where they showed. I think everywhere I saw.
I don't think it was a VR game though.
I think it was VR.
Oh, well then, I'm interested.
I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I've been proven wrong.
Yes, and you'll be wrong in the future too.
Yes, I will be.
Then we saw Star Wars Battlefront X-Wing VR mission.
So that's EA's announcement,
which is probably like 3 minutes long.
It's probably just you sitting in a cockpit, and that's it.
And you're actually shooting stuff. So it's probably a short single mission because it mentions individual mission. So it's probably just this one mission. And then on top of that, we also got Batman Arkham VR, which is
they're saying people impressions of it said it was really good. Unfortunately, what they showed us at the conference was literally just a mask. There you go, guys. Come on, show us the game.
Yes.
Oh wait, you can't because it's just a series of trailers.
Yeah, so apparently it's like its own thing. So like, oh no, we said we were stopping the Arkham series, but we're bringing it into VR. I'm guessing it won't be, like I say, a full. I don't think it'll be a full scale game.
No, I think it's probably a short term.
Like a short game, maybe 2 hour, 3 hour game that kind of covers like the detective element of the game rather than the full action element to it. But we'll find out. We'll find out when it comes out. Then we saw Final Fantasy 15 again with VR experience where you play as one character who has a gun and go pew 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 pew.
Yeah,
apparently that was like the way that the control worked. First of all, it apparently was kind of nausea-inducing, and to top it off, it didn't play well either.
No, I can tell by just looking at the trailer. I'm like, this is not what you're supposed to do with VR. It's not you're not supposed to shoehorn a game to have VR elements. You're supposed to take VR and say, what can I make good with VR? And that's not what this was.
Yeah, this was just something they were probably told by Sony, make a VR game for launch, and they go, okay, we'll do this, because it's close enough. And that was the end of the VR discussion. So it was actually a pretty lengthy discussion.
It was a nice discussion, but not enough to sell me on it.
No, but it's definitely a lot of interesting game ideas, but nothing that went...
No montages. There was no montages. Because you're selling this thing this year.
Yeah, 50
Sell
games.
me! Sell me!
Well, they have plenty of time to sell you, and it's already sold out, so they don't need to sell you.
I guess I'm out of luck.
Then we had Call of Duty Infinite Warfare.
Lengthy trailer.
It was a lengthy demo, and I was surprised by the demo. It was maybe a little too long in the tooth in my eyes.
It always is, but I didn't know what it was until they started the gunfight. Then I'm like, oh, yeah, it's Call of Duty. But it looked good. You know, opening a room, walking around.
I'm giving credit. They did a lot of things differently this time. It's space, there's space travel, there's grappling hooks. They did a lot of stuff that felt different from a normal shooter that was in the Call of Duty series. So I think they're really trying to show they can diversify the genres. So from those, we got the Infinite Warfare series, we got Black Ops series, we got the Modern Warfare series, we got Advanced Warfare. So we got all these warfare franchises that they can mess around with if they want to go into that direction. Infinite Warfare, of course, implies space and high-end.
Yeah.
Space.
Now, I want to see, because they show, it's like, oh, where are we going to find our next mission? And they zoomed in on a planet on Earth. And, oh, there's a base here. I want to know if that's like you get to go around and explore.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be open, but well, you know, I could be wrong. Now, after that, they also showed a brief trailer of the Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered, which apparently you can only get by
pre-ordering. I'm not exactly sure.
But we'll find out, or we won't find out, because I'm not going to talk about it.
Speaking of remastered, this was the best part of using the stage.
Was having Crash Bandicoot appear.
Yeah, the shadow of the Crash Bandicoot on the screen. And then they said, yes, guess what? We're getting someone to remaster Crash 1, 2, and 3.
Yes.
They didn't
show anything.
Nothing. Clearly, it's just been passed through. And then they said, but you can play Crash in the brand new Skylanders Imaginators. What we've learned about it is that when you buy the PlayStation 4 version, Crash will be in the box.
Or it's a Crash Edition, at least.
A Crash Edition. And then later, Crash will be sold individually.
Yeah. So Crash is not exclusive to Sony platforms, whereas Nintendo's were exclusive to their games. In this case, this character will be playable on all platforms, because he's still owned by Activision.
Yeah, so it's not a Sony IP. I'm still not sure what to think about his style. I'm glad he's back. I can't wait to see him. I want to see what the remasters look like. Why didn't they show the remasters?
Well, we'll probably see at PSX.
And then they showed Lego Star Wars.
They were obligated to do that because Warner Brothers had their stuff. Warner Brothers needed to have their face shown somewhere.
And it's out in 2 weeks. I think it's out now. Yeah,
yeah, more or less. It's out now-ish.
It's now out now-ish. But the big thing was like, oh, we have a demo. Download a demo. I'm like, okay.
Fine, thanks. Fine. That was nice. No, I don't think so.
Why are you here?
And
Game's out.
But then, Hideo Kojima showed up.
That's another good use of this set.
That was not, yeah, he started walking too fast.
He walked too fast, but, you know, he probably
he can do whatever he wants. The game announcement was Death Stranding, and we have no idea how it plays or what it really is about.
We're like, this is almost to go, no. Guys, before, when he announced something and it was for Metal Gear Solid, you had grounding. You had foundations,
okay,
which could be broken, but they were there, and you had some, okay, there's got to be a snake, there's got to be, like, a big boss, there's a bomb, there's the Metal Gear.
There's stealthing, and there's gunning.
Now you've given him complete free reign. Guess what, guys?
Norman Reedus is naked, has a baby.
The baby's gone. There's things floating in the air. There's whales dead. There's oil or something in the water. He's got like padlocks on his collar. He's the wrist. I don't know what's going on.
So one of the things they mentioned about this, when he was explaining it, he was saying that the first thing that man invented was the stick. Was the tool he uses the stick to get things away from them, to like battle things and bring them up. But he says, but when they were born, another one they made was rope. Or when you're born, you have a umbilical cord keeps you together, and rope. Whereas a stick pushes things aside, rope brings things together. And he says this is going to be a game that uses rope in some way as well. I wonder. I have no idea what that means.
Are we going to be using an umbilical cord?
Right. Roman Remus is missing one. So
I don't understand. I don't. It looked great. There's a great teaser. I am now completely like my mind is trying to work the puzzle like a Rubik's Cube, and I am failing.
Yeah, you're gonna probably see more footage of this game probably in a year.
Yeah, he doesn't even have like an engine for it yet.
But one of the trailer they showed was using one of the engines they're figuring out whether to use. And my suspicion is probably like.
No Del Toro, though.
No Del Toro, no. But Norman Reedus is back. So
yeah, he's back. He's apparently they're friends.
They're friends. And so, well, good luck, Hideo Kojima, but
I'm looking forward.
It'll be a while.
I'm looking forward to see what he does. Hopefully it'll take faster.
Hopefully it'll be done soon. Yeah. Sooner! Because I guess PS4's got a few more years left.
Well, 4K. I'll come from 4K.
And then ended with SpiderMan, which is developed by Insomniac Games and apparently is like the start of a series of games.
Yes, so yeah, well, it looks like from what we heard from Marvel is Marvel has the cinematic universe, which are all the movies, and they're doing box office hits.
Yeah.
And then they want to do this video game universe, like this video game entertainment universe. And they're starting with making these epic games. They actually said it, like epic games. And they want to start with Spider-Man. So Spider-Man has nothing to do with Spider-Man Homecoming, which is part of the cinematic universe.
Yeah.
This is a brand new of the video game universe, which means I'm going to expect to see a lot of Avengers stuff soon.
Yeah.
And that's what this is. This is the starting point for that.
Yeah, and this is also going to be obviously exclusive to Sony platforms because Sony owns the rights to Spider-Man. So
there you go.
And Insomniac Games is developing it. So that's cool. Insomniac making use of the open world engine they produced with Sunset Overdrive to make this game. This was rumored. I thought that maybe Sucker Punch would be involved, but
Because of Infamous
and then, of course, that ended it for announcements. We obviously had the Days Gone demo, and that ended it. Quite a lengthy. It was only half an hour long. First of all, short. That's short for Sony.
And I feel that it should have been half an hour long, just so they could talk a little bit more about the games. Again, I feel like a broken record, but it didn't feel. It felt like I was watching a stream of YouTube or commercials. I didn't feel, or at the movies. I was at the movies watching trailers.
Well, funny enough, they had people at the movies watching that very same.
I felt that as far as a presentation, there was no presenting. It was just here's the stuff. A few times they came out, which was nice. But
Yeah.
I felt like they needed a little bit more.
Oh yeah, and there was no PlayStation Neo. But let's get to our guesses. We said that the chance of a PS4K was 30%. That did not happen, so we were kind of in the ballpark.
Well, to be fair, they did announce it.
Oh yeah, they announced
before E3. They finally said, guys, we are making one. Stop asking us. It's not going to be at E3.
Yeah, so but there are rumors that it is being released this year. So hey,
and it's probably going to be shown at Tokyo Game Show.
The Last Guardian totally made it.
Yep,
Gravity Rush 2. It was there.
It was at the show floor, but it was not talked about. Again, a perfectly good idea to show off a game in a trailer or montage
or something. That
no montages, which I felt again it's something completely against.
They may have had a montage at the very end.
I don't remember.
Or maybe something like that.
I don't recall.
God of War 4, totally there. I don't want to say God of War 4. It was like the 6th game. Gran Turismo Sport wasn't there. Which is interesting because the game uses VR and it does not, so it probably would be useful. PSVR Blowout, totally got that. New Sony Bend IP, got that. Time for PS Vita being less than 10 minutes, we had no Vita.
No Vita.
None.
Not even a visual.
Not even a minute. There was
Vita
nothing.
is gone, guys. It's just going to be digital distribution and playing your PS4 games on the go.
Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer, no. Final Fantasy 15 had a trailer.
Yeah, way better than no Iron Giant.
We had maybe a Final Fantasy 7 art trailer that did not happen. That game is still a bit early.
Yeah.
To say the least. No Shenmue 3. We predicted that right out of the bat. Good thing we said that. The Last of Us 2 teased. We got something like The Last of Us.
No, it's not The Last of Us.
New Sucker Punch game. We didn't get that.
No.
Now, for the big bets. I said Crash Bandicoot and, well, I'll take it. I'll be the humble guy. I'll just take it.
He's just going to take it. I wanted Sly Cooper. I really wasn't feeling that, but I put it out there anyways. I was thinking, well, they did announce they're making a movie, but I think because of how bad Ratchet & Clank did, that's not. They're done. They're done with movies.
The theme was Sony keeping promises. I don't know if really what. It was more like Sony keeping it classy, if anything.
No, I feel that was what Sony did this year was Sony is entertainment.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. Sony's entertainment. They played it like a theater movie.
Yeah.
They were just about the orchestra playing, the gameplay demos, very little discussion. In fact, I think they talked for so little that I think you probably can wrap it up in about like 7 minutes. I think it's how much discussion.
It was very tight in terms of what content they had, and that actually made it rather hard to be like, what's next? What's next? My mind can't grasp this. So, but it was at the same time, I can also see why people were really interested in that sort of content. And then the big game, God of War. Actually, I think that's the big game. That and Days Gone, I feel like that.
Well, I think they're pushing Days Gone now. There's also rumors that the reason why Days Gone was broken up like that was because they were going to unveil a new Red Dead.
Red Dead
Revolution at the end, but that got pulled, and so they was, well, what can we do? Let's take our new IP, Days Gone, do a trailer, because the trailer ends right as the gameplay demo is supposed to begin. So it's like almost like those were two pieces, they split it and popped it.
Yeah,
and that's what they did.
Yeah, we'll probably never know.
All we got is what we got.
Yep. And so, our bingo card. Our bingo card has a few moments of closeness. There's a few, definitely the lack of Drawn to Death would have given us a bona fide a bona fide bingo here. And on top of that, even like a little bit of new Destiny content. I could give like a kind of a little bit of a marking there. Also, looks like we got pretty close with a new Sucker Punch title. Overall, there was no bingo, but you know, we had a lot of covered there. Actually, we covered a lot of ground in that bingo card. Some things like for instance, expecting Knack, that was just
that was silly.
That was silly.
The Final Fantasy VII remastered trailer.
Yeah, I also think that we were pretty close to the PSVR. We actually they actually spent about 9 minutes, we calculated, on PSVR.
Close,
but we asked for 15, and that's what we got.
Way too much.
Anyway, Sony. I'm giving Sony an A-.
Yes. Again, I could see it was good content, but it wasn't presented in a way that I found was good.
Yeah, I mean,
again, I understand a lot of people wanted to just people reacted. It's great. I reacted too. It's great, but I felt that it needed a little bit of breather, and they didn't give us any of that, or a little bit of discussion. Nothing.
Yeah, and there's a lot of, and I think there was way too many games that were announced that aren't coming out until like late next year at the earliest.
Like, in fact, a lot of things that they've. I think at the very end of the presentation, they said these games are in development.
And yeah, they showed off like 5 or 6 of their first-party games, and only one of them had a date, and that was Horizon
and Last Guardian.
And The Last Guardian. Everything else was listed as in development, which gives me concern that those games might be like late 2017 at the absolute earliest.
Hope
we'll find out as we get closer to, like, say, PlayStation Experience or even Gamescom or Paris Game Week, depending on what they choose, when we see more specific release dates for the other games. But that covers Sony.
And it covers all the conferences.
Yep, but we're going to have a very brief look at Nintendo in the next video.
Yep.